All right, guys, getting everything started. We have a brand new sponsor for this show, but they're not brand new to Tonto. I know you've
No.
been using their stuff a while.
Yep.
Medieval Industries. And yet today's show is sponsored in part by Medieval Industries. They manufacture the only fully adjustable foregrip on the market. The 360-degree VFG mounts to all tactical rails and allows you to swivel and lock the grip into any position on the fly. Whether you're hunting, shooting for sport, or challenging yourself in the precision tactical shooting competitions, this unique adjustable foregrip will become a natural extension of your rifle. Medieval has expanded their product line to include a quick detach tripod and most recently, quick detach adjustable monopod. They've
Yep.
designed and engineered the necessary components to create a tactical shooting system. They've integrated the QD tripod into their line of modular quick detach accessories. Medieval's newest setup, the Overwatch Commander, is an extremely stable shooting platform that's quickly and easily deployed in tight spaces. This new lightweight, compact system is capable of what many heavier, larger tripods on the market can do and allows for widespread accessibility because of its small footprint. The entire system weighs just under 6 pounds and deploys in seconds. Medieval Industries is committed to providing all gun enthusiasts with precision engineered, high quality weapon accessories. All products are designed and developed with first rate materials for strength and endurance. And you could probably get into this because you've been using their stuff for quite a while and it is the best on the market.
Yeah. Well, the benefit of especially of the QD tripod mount, and for those that shoot, that especially do long range shooting as well. Um, you have those bipod legs that you usually use on most systems. That was all that there was. You put a bipod on the front of your long rifle there. And what happens is when you get on uneven surfaces or ground, or you even have pieces of logs or something, ground isn't flat. And the thing said, Tana, what does that mean? Well, you don't just go out in the wilderness, or you don't go out in the streets unless you're just on a flat sidewalk and it's perfectly level. Things are, there's so many different terrain pieces that you have to deal with. So I remember I'd go out and throw my bipod legs down, especially when I was shooting a 240, 240 Bravos Ranger Battalion, or getting out with this 300 Win Mag I have from Nemo. And you're lopsided. You're falling left and right. And with that QD tripod mount, because you're able to manipulate 360 degrees, you can still maintain stability and not only have one leg on a bipod touching the ground where the other one's half up in the air because you don't have level ground. It's tremendous. And I'm like thinking again, why don't I think of this stuff? I'm downrange. It's like, God, this piece of equipment, this bipod legs suck. Why don't I think of a smaller little tripod mount for a long rifle, for a 300 Win Mag or so, or even if you got a 28 Nosler or something like that, a long range weapon, especially you hunters out there, because it gives you the stability to have all pieces of that tripod on the ground, but then you can manipulate it where you aren't straight up and down. So you're not just vertical compared to the horizontal ground, because ground 90% out there is not just straight horizontal, and it keeps you on balance. And I think it's best to go look, if you can, go on the medieval.com website, look at their
Yep, mid
products first.
and yes,
Mid
mid-evil
dash
dot
evil.
com.
Yep. .com. And then just do some YouTube searches too. And then me being a foreign grip guy, that is huge, because the foreign grip, I love foreign grips. The ability to move a foreign grip in 360 degrees, especially behind cover, when you're shooting behind cover, it allows you to even maintain cover behind a barricade or barrier, but also get that good tight stable grip that you have with a foreign. And with a foregrip that's just vertical, just straight up and down, you're going to have to lean out farther from a barrier. You're going to have to expose yourself and cover more. Where if you can just rotate that foregrip and make it to where you can cant it left or right, 45-degree angle, 22-degree angle, so forth, you can maintain better cover. Guys, it's a game changer. Like all the products that we have, whether it's Fort Scott Munitions, game changer, and then we got Medieval here. it's stuff that I'm like, gosh, why didn't I think of this? And it's because I'm not real smart. But no, check out Medieval, and if guys, if you're not a foregrip guy, check the other stuff they have out, especially that QD tripod mount and the triple threat combo with the vertical foregrip modular tripod system. And for all you long range shooters and even you law enforcement guys that are DDM designated defense marksmen, that Overwatch Commander is something that you should have in your departments, because it's again, and I could go on, but we only have a short point of time. Check their products out on mid-evil.com/products, or just go to mid-evil.com and you can pull all that stuff up.
Absolutely. And actually speaking with Steve, the owner, there's a lot of guys in the special operations community who are now teaching their students on this, because, and they're teaching fellow service members on Medieval products, because they're the only guys doing this in the market, and it's so innovative. So I don't know what more to say, but mid-evil.com. Great guys. And when they heard Phil Labonte was coming on, they said, let's hop on that episode. And as always, I mean, if you guys are going to be shooting, you also want to shoot with the best ammo. And the best ammo out there is Fort Scott Munitions. Fort Scott is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as long as there are gun stores in those 50 states nowadays, as well as directly online through fortscottmunitions.com. Use exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Paranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. I actually just posted a photo up today as we're recording this of Hank Strange and some of the guns he's building, and of course using Fort Scott Munitions on.
Yeah, we say it every time, but I'd say it again. This is the best ammo out there by far. Just shooting it again at our Chicago course, no problems with it. The stuff just it tumbles when it impacts whatever you're trying to impact, which is it's essential in having that knockdown capability. Whether you're a hunter or in home defense, if you're ever in a situation, you want that situation in a defensive situation where you have a threat in front of you, somebody's trying to kill you or hurt you and your family. And again, God forbid you have to be in that situation, but you want something that stops that threat immediately, and just end it in the fight, because it's not a good feeling to be in those situations. So Fort Scott Munitions is tremendous. And again, just going to the range and shooting, they have tremendous range ammo now, which they've started to make after they made the really high end stuff, which is fantastic for hunting and home defense. But range ammo, and again, no issues with it. I have shot the 9mm all weekend, and I didn't have one problem, and that's pretty much normal with their ammunition. So if you haven't checked out Fort Scott Munitions, definitely do, and check out Medieval Industries and all their packages they got, especially their QD mounts and their foregrips.
Hell yes! Offer code Battleline on Fort Scott Munitions. Let's hit it. Let's get right into everything with special guest Phil Labonte.
On the microphones, pure and uncensored American straight talk. Never quit. You're locked and loaded with Chris Paranto and Ian Scotto. This is the Battleline Podcast.
Switch is on. Motherfucker, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
The switch is on. Ian Scotto here, and social media influencer extraordinaire, Chris Peranto.
Did you just call me that? I'm flipping you off right now in your fucking phone. You dickhead.
I had to use your favorite term.
I hate.
Benghazi attack survivor, influencer. It's all the
Oh,
same thing.
dude, yeah, shit. I know. I swear to. Who thought of that shit? I love. Who was it? Who was it? Jimmy Allen or was it Hank that said? Being you, I think you asked him, what's it like being famous or this, and was he the one that said, well, famous is not really what it used to be anymore when any damn person can post a picture of their ass cheeks or they could pick
I think it was Frank from Instagram because
was it Frank?
You could.
Yeah,
I said
Hank?
Frank from Instagram. Frank from Amur because we're talking about
Oh,
Instagram.
Amir, that's right. Frank, we're talking.
But he was talking about that girl who literally licked a toilet bowl and called it COVID-19 challenge, and the next thing she's on Dr. Phil.
Exactly.
He was just saying fame is cheap, and it is true. Which, by the way, they have an album coming out. By the time you hear this, it'll be out, like a surprise album that they put out.
I appreciate
very true. Very true.
I appreciate you put me in that category with the girl that licked the toilet bowl. That was awesome, dude.
Same thing.
Yeah, and that's when I if I ever get to that point where I am like a fucking influencer and act that way, whether I am or not, but I act in that, dude, just kick me in my balls because I deserve it. I definitely deserve it. And so, touche. Don't worry, karma's a bitch. I got something coming for you. It'll come.
Or you call me Igor like on the last episode.
Igor, dude, Debbie called you that. I did.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's awesome. I think, because that's the one thing with call signs. When we were doing overseas, and you had call signs, and everybody, you never got to pick your own call sign. That wasn't, no, you could, because if you picked your own call sign, it was always something cool. It was like, I'm chainsaw or bloodbath or hard trained killers. No, that's bullshit. Somebody else picked your call sign. So that's why you had like Tonto, or you had Brutus was another guy. Or
I do know, it's funny because speaking of one you'd want to have, and I do know the original story behind, but I think when people hear Nick the Reaper Irving, you're like, did he come up with that one? Because that's a badass one.
Yeah,
he was originally the Ripper, and then it was the Reaper, and he told the story. So I'm just telling you this from what I've heard.
Well, and I love Nick. Nick's a real deal. Nick's Ranger Battalion guy. But to be honest, I guarantee you, there's nobody at third bat calling Nick the Reaper, or second bat or first bat calling Nick the Reaper. They're calling him Mini Me or something like that. that's sexual chocolate.
He told this story, I remember, on a podcast himself. So I'm just relaying here. Apparently the Ripper is in regards to his huge dick.
I would say probably to him ripped that big fart too. So either way, now he's ripped it. Now, Nick, come on, man. And every other bat boy's out there rolling his eyes. Yeah, Nick, whatever you say, brother. Roger that.
No, it was like a story that he ripped something open while, getting busy.
Oh, yeah, sure. So that's even a cool guy. Here. I am the trained killer of all killers, and I just tear women up because I'm Wilt Chamberlain. Shut up, Nick. I love you, brother, but stop it. So, and I tell you, and I'm not the only bat boy out there going, whatever, Nick. I'd like to have somebody from his squad come on and actually tell the real story. But honestly, brother, even at Ranger Battalion, we didn't have call signs. We didn't have nothing like that. There's another story right there. When I joined GRS and I came into the GRS community, most of the GRS guys at the time were SEALs. Most CI was picking up SEAls, and that because that was what they thought. We need SEAls. Well, then other guys started to come in. My first step in and how I got named Tonto is, and I think I told the story, but not all of it. I came in and there was this guy from SEAL Team 6, Devergrew guy, great guy. I don't want to give his call sign out because I don't know if he's still working or not. And then another guy that had been doing it for a while. He was a Force Recon guy, but we called him Brutus. Great guy. And then a big dude named Haas. Now, because he looked like Haas from Bonanza. And I walk in, they're like, what's your call sign? I'm like, fuck, dude, Ranger. We don't have call signs. You guys know that. And that's when the Tonto spun out. Well, yeah, what's your last? And so, brother, I tell you what, if he had a call sign at Ranger Battalion, Nick, come on, dude, that's bullshit. We don't have call signs at Ranger. Our call sign was Specialist, Sergeant, or Ranger Dick Private. You're a shit bag, dude. Shit bag, get over here. But again, that being said, Ranger Nick no, Nick did his Nick's legitimate, and I'd go downrange with that dude in a heartbeat. But I'm not going to call him the Reaper ever. So it's not going to happen. But no, the
Or when
dude's
I
legit.
hear Chris Kyle, the Devil of Ramadi, you think that's something
No,
people really call him? Or?
that's a media thing, dude. Fuck no, come on, dude. Yeah, and again, it's just it's not. No, we don't do that shit, dude. It doesn't happen in the community. And he may have been, but that being said, no, that was something that was drummed up by somebody. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I would bet dollars to donuts that came up from somebody outside the teams or outside the SOCOM community. No, or yeah, no. I could get almost. I put money down on it. Like I said, I bet you $1 to a donut. That no way. No way,
Yeah.
brother. But again, but that's all right. Hey, that's all right. Because again, another legitimate guy, Chris Carr, God bless him and bless his soul and his family. No, he was again not knocking his service at all. I'd go downrange with that dude as well. Those guys are hard hitters. But that's the one thing about the hard hitters is that the majority of the hard hitters that you see that I knew, they had the powder puff names because it was okay. You were confident and cool enough in your abilities that you didn't have to be called the Reaper. You could be called My Little Pony and still be and I'd be like, man, because you're that badass that you don't really give a shit if you have a cool call sign or not. It's because you don't need it. And that's the parody of it. That's why I always parody. That's why I did the dances with flashlights. That's why I break out and do the hot rod dance in front of the cameras of the video. And I'd always make fun. I always a joker because I parodied all the alpha male cool guy shit because it was all bullshit, dude. You know, all the guys that I worked with down that I wanted to, that I knew were bad at, were the guys that didn't take themselves seriously and were funny and fun. But when the switch came on, motherfucker, they're going to shoot you right in the face. And that was what the goal said. Is that, but that's to me, that's what I remember, not all the influencer stuff that we get into now,
Yeah.
which maybe that would be a good call sign. The influencer. That'd be okay. We'll go with that.
Nowadays, I mean, yeah, there's probably guys in the community who are, heavily on all that stuff. I know that's, after your time, really. But
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
so I don't mean to make them change the mood here because we are having fun, but I feel like it has to be addressed because it's all everybody is talking about this week for good reason. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. I feel like everybody is commenting on it.
Brother, honestly, I have not the first time.
Okay.
So yeah, but go into it, man. I had not
So
known.
yeah, all over the news, this major case of police brutality in Minnesota, rioting going on, looting going on, stores being set on fire. And the thing that actually changes this one, or is different from this than all the other cases that I've seen, is usually when there's a case like this, I'm on social media. I have a lot of black friends. I have a lot of friends who are liberal. I have a lot of friends who are very conservative, or just people I follow. And the overwhelming consensus seems to be this cop is a murderer. And it's from everybody. I mean, like even Graham Allen, right? He's usually a very pro-police guy. He's flat out saying this guy is a murderer and should be charged. And, I was looking at some of the posts, and I actually think the most powerful one that I saw was Remy Adelecki, because Remy is a former SEAL who is black and did grow up in those type of neighborhoods. And I'd rather hear what he has to say than, a white guy who probably hasn't experienced the same thing. And
Yeah.
so I'll read Remy's post because I thought it was powerful. And he wrote this on Instagram. Good guy, and hopefully we'll have him on the show at some point. I hate having to post about events like this, but it would be a greater sin for me not to. What do I have? Why do I hate having to? Because what's happening shouldn't happen. 7 minutes. For 7 minutes, this moron cop kept all his weight on George Floyd's neck while George was handcuffed and said, "I can't breathe." Now George is dead. Murder charges. That's all I can say. I don't want to hear about manslaughter. This was a murder. Not only should he be charged, but the coward cop who stood by and watched should be charged with murder too. They had 7 minutes to think about ending their cowardice, pride, and bigotry. And I don't want to hear blah, 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 black people kill more blacks than blah, blah, blah. The job of police is to protect and serve. That's the ethos, protect and serve. Y'all came up with that, not us. So when you do the opposite of protect and serve, when you break your rules and break our hearts, it's different. I know that's hard for a lot of people to understand, but try growing up where I did and seeing constant negligence carried out by those who swore to protect and serve. Try that. Damn, man. I want to add, all cops aren't bad. All cops don't break their ethos. All cops aren't racist. There are a lot of great cops out there, and I'm friends and respect them. We need cops, and I don't advocate for violence against cops. What I'm hoping my voice will do is get police departments across the nation to change their standards for entry, enhance their training significantly, and encourage leadership to ensure their police treat all races equally. And then also, Remy posted a video of one of the people out there where the riots are happening, and it's actually pretty powerful. I'm just going to play it off my phone, so hopefully you guys hear this all right. It's a quick clip. Here we go. I'm going to play that again so you can hear the beginning.
What's it going to take for you guys to be okay tonight and to stop this chaos?
It ain't me. It's not me. I'm going to let y'all know that now. It's not us guys neither. And I'm glad that y'all said that. It's not us. It's the police. It's the madness that they spark up. This is what they encourage. This is what they provoke. This is what you get out of you taking a loved one from someone. This is what you get. You get a lot of people that's hurt, and they can't vent the right way. They can't no longer depend on the police to be here to protect us like they say they gonna do. So this is what you get. And no, it's not gonna end today. I can't tell you it's gonna end tomorrow. I don't know when it's gonna end. But it's for y'all to start. We're not the ones that's killing us. Y'all killing us. We can't make a change if y'all don't change.
Yeah, so that's really it. And I mean, I've seen a million posts, but I thought Remy's was, very emotional to read.
Well, bro, again, like I said, I don't watch the news, and I'm beyond. So I don't even know any of this happened. And to say, but looking at it, and it's hard for me to throw my 2 cents in with and speak of it at all with any sort of I don't know, I don't know what I'm looking for. Anyway. Because I don't want to know what happened. So looking at it again with the police, and I'm trying to search. I got my computer in front of me, trying to search it right now. I'm being honest, guys. I really haven't. If a police officer did something wrong, and if that's what took place, and if the killing happened, all I'm seeing is a knee on the ground. Did they choke him out? Help me out, Ian. Yeah, I'm stumbling because I don't know what happened.
It's the same thing Remy wrote, is that for 7 minutes they put their knee on this guy's throat until he died.
And well, being said too, and I do agree with this because having experience, especially here in Omaha, which I believe a lot of their police officers are very undertrained, and a little bit, well, being said, I don't want to get into the Omaha Police Department because I think they have their own issues, but I do agree with that. With the training, yeah, there needs to be better training within the officers themselves. How to handle situations. Now, that being said, I don't know what this gentleman did or did not do, but did he deserve to die? Again, what did he do? Did he kill somebody? Was he out there?
No,
okay,
nothing like that.
Okay,
from what I know, pretty minor.
Then
I could even look it up.
Okay,
because I'll be honest. Same with you. I don't even have cable right now, so I've just seen everybody reacting on social media. And the one thing, like I said, that's really interesting is, when the Michael Brown situation happened, or a lot of these other situations, there was a pretty there was a range of perspective.
Yeah,
I heard a lot of people sticking up for police. I heard a lot of people saying they were in the wrong. And with this particular case, I don't see anyone sticking up for the police. I really don't. And I'm talking about conservative commentators like Graham Allen, like Andrew Wilkow. No one is agreeing with the police.
Well, and if that's the case, because again, I feel, bro, I'm always in the gray areas with police officers now because of personal things that's happened to me with it, which wasn't good. So that being said, but seeing it, I got to see it from an analytical point of view, a quantitative point of view, not a qualitative point of view, which is what social media is, which you're getting opinions here, this and that, so they're just getting the facts. But if the gentleman, 7 minutes on a guy's neck, and why? That's why I guess I need to delve into a little bit more. But I do agree that training within law enforcement community is, because I've seen it. I train guys that come like the Chicago course. I police officers in that. I think training that police officers get is not standard, is substandard, and the guys that actually get the better training, that pay out of their own pocket to come train with outsiders of the law enforcement community, like myself, they're usually ready. But that is like maybe 10%. I don't
You know,
think
and I'm
all
even
police.
looking, I'm trying to find the charges, but like Dan Bongino, for example, Dan Bongino is heavily pro-police guy,
Well,
heavily, and
that
Dan Bongino himself is saying, I'm looking right here. When I was in the 75th precinct as an NYPD officer, the golden rule was when the handcuffs are on and the subject is controlled, the fight is over. So even Dan Bongino is saying
well,
this is
then
uncalled.
that's the rules. You follow the rules. Again, difference between me and you is I don't give two fucks what somebody says out there. Whether I know Dan Bongino, I know Andrew Wilk. I don't give a fuck what they're saying. I could
No,
care less. I want to know
my
what
only my
happened.
only point, and I'm not saying it to say that I care about their opinion. My only point is usually there's a wide array of
Sure.
perspective of the, you know, I think when overwhelming majority, including people who have been police officers, say they were in the wrong, it adds to perspective.
Well, and that's where you just come right in. And I'll put it from perspective. If I was the police chief there, I'm not obviously, but come in. What's your standards? What are our rules? What do you do? And like Dan Bongino just said on his, this is when the handcuffs come on, the fights are over. If that's the rules and that didn't happen, of course the police officer's in the wrong. You fucking didn't follow your own procedures, your standards. If those standards don't state that, and the police officer did it, well, in the public opinion, yes, he's still wrong. But then also the department's got to come in and scrutiny and go, what the fuck are your standards, guys? Why are you doing this? I agree. I'm the same way. Guys, you've seen me. I talked about it when I'm standing face to face with the Taliban, where I could have dropped the motherfucker right there, and I'd actually talked to him to try to develop a rapport with him. I get it, dude. I get standing in front of somebody that could kill you, and you're trying to figure out, do I beat the shit out of this guy? Do I shoot him? Do I kill him? Or do we try to work this out? So I get that. Yes, when the fight's over and the adrenaline's over, you got to get up and no, because human life is human life. It is, especially if this gentleman didn't do anything that was even remotely too close to murder or killing some. That's to me. Then if you're killing somebody,
Sure, yeah, different story.
you different. But brother, but yeah, that's where that's where I'm coming down again. When I say analytical or the quantitative. What were the rules? What was he supposed to do? Did he follow those rules? If he didn't, then there's no black and white. Then there's no gray area. That dude's whatever the repercussions are supposed to be. If it's supposed to be charged for murder, then that's what he gets charged for. That's how I look at it, not the courts of public opinion. But coming out back,
No, I agree. I just put those out there for a matter of perspective, and I could say Remy, for example, right? I remember from when I interviewed Remy, he served with Eddie Gallagher, and I asked his opinion on Eddie Gallagher, and Eddie Gallagher is a friend of his, and Remy said, "Hey, if Eddie Gallagher did what they're saying he did, I remember this was his words. He said he has to pay the man, you know, so he's not a. I just think it shows he's not a hypocritical guy.
No, I agree.
That was my
bro.
Yeah.
No, again, please don't think I'm busting your balls, dude. I'm speaking outwardly to I'm just speaking my mind here. Now, on the other thing though, I know you've got it with the crowds and the riots. Whose stores are they destroying?
Yeah,
are they destroying their local community again? I mean, what does
pretty
that?
Much is. And I agree.
Hey,
Doesn't do anything good. The question always is for me, because I do agree, it does absolutely no good just to destroy stores in your own community. Part of, I think, the problem, and this is not at all to excuse those people, is that I feel like when people peacefully protest, the media doesn't even notice it, and it's like we destroy our community, and the police at least notice what's going on.
I completely agree with you. It's like, what is the shock value in that society again today, and the media again? I'll turn it right back on you, all the mainstream media right now. Dude, most if not all the major shit that happens in the country and the overblown knee-jerk reactions are your fucking fault. Every bit of it. And I've been a part of that. I get it. That's why I know where those knee-jerk reactions come from, and I know I used to have to use them to my advantage. I get it. But this situation here, I agree with you, Ian. Right, like that. You're right. The peaceful protests don't get any attention. The going and ransacking every damn store out there, and the more crime and stuff that happens as far as looting and stealing and busting, yeah, that's going to get attention. But coming back to again with the full thing with the police officer, brother, I am in agreement with Remy, and I think there's a lot more of us out there, especially in the tactical community, that will say the same thing. there's a lot of substandard officers out there because of their lack of training, because they only get it from their departments, and the departments, they just don't train the people as they need to be. And I do agree with that, and I've seen that. So man, I wish I could speak more eloquently on it. Well, I can't
No,
speak
it's fine.
eloquently anyway,
I
but that's
I
my
was surprised that you haven't seen it because just going on Instagram and Twitter, it's like it's all I'm seeing. So
Yeah, I haven't been on Instagram in the last 3 days,
that's
4
good.
days.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, but it's something good to talk about. And no, you're officers out there. If you're doing the right things, and then we're not talking about you. If you're an officer out there,
Of
and
course.
you are, you have to I always say, if the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, then don't worry about it. I mean, or if it doesn't, and you know in your department that it does fit for some, and this is why I come back to departments. You got to fix it internally. Y'all got to fix it yourselves. We'll have all this going on, but if you guys don't fix the shit internally, it will never get fixed. And that's the God honest truth. You and I can say whatever we want, Ian. Protest galore. You got people distrusting the police, people, and even a lot of them that trusted the police. But then when we had the arrests of like the hair salon owners, and you see that Nick the Marine out there with him getting roused up, those same people that backed you are now backing off you because you're doing these, you're backing these governors' order. Again, it's crazy. So what I'm saying is, because we're running out of time, and now we got to get Phil on. What I'm saying is with the departments, guys, is you all know what the right things are. You know what it is. You know what's wrong. You got to fix it within your departments. All of us on the outside will never fix it, ever, no matter how violent we get or peaceful we get or how much we talk about it. If it's not fixed internally, it's never going to get fixed, brother. And that's the truth with any organization, but especially the law enforcement community. It really is, because they are a fraternity, man, big fraternity. And if you're not part of that, they'll listen to you maybe, but it probably not. And until it's fixed from the inside out, it's never going to get fixed.
Oh, well said, man. I think that was eloquent. So
that's the best I could do, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you're saying, and these are very tough issues, especially with what the community is going through as a whole, what the country is going through, and then you add fuel to the fire. It's just not a good situation. But with that, we've got Phil Labonte waiting by, and who knows, maybe we'll get into this because Phil comments on everything. If you read Phil's Twitter,
yeah, Phil's in the know, man. He's in the know more than I am.
He is.
But,
so
yeah,
with that, Phil is huge in the firearms industry, and all those guys wanted to be a part of this episode, including Fort Scott Munitions, a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition. It's designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in every state, as well as directly online through fortscottmunitions.com, and that's munitions, munitions.com. Use the exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. Joining us for the first time on Battleline podcast, a guy that I've hung out with a couple times when you're on Andrew Wilkow. I know that you and Tonto go way back. Singer for All That Remains, gun store owner, retired Marine, Phil Labonte. Awesome to have you on, man, and excited to hear what you're up to through this whole crazy situation.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's good to talk to you guys too, Chris. I haven't talked to Chris.
I know.
When's the last time we hung out?
2 years, dude. It's been since 2 years ago, since 2 or 3 years ago, SHOT Show. We went to dinner with Mountain Man Hodge. That never looks like he's never takes a shower. Love Hodge, good man.
You should see his place now. He's knocked basically every tree on his property down. He's got like 10 or 15 acres. He knocked every tree down. He's got horses now. his wife likes horses, and so he likes his wife. So knock them
Yeah.
trees down and get some horses,
You
man.
gotta get some horses out there. And we overpaid for that shitty ass damn sushi at that freaking restaurant.
At Nobu, yes.
Nobu, like no,
Yeah.
sorry guys, the Fusion, no, just go to old school, go down the old strip and eat. Don't eat at that damn place. No, it's good. And you're still, dude. I was telling Ian, like, man, last time I talked to Phil or saw Phil, the dude was fucking jacked. Are you still? Are you and Bubbles still lifting all the time, man?
I would be more jacked if the gyms had not been closed for the past 2 months. I was in very good shape, getting ready for we're supposed to be on tour right now. We were supposed to leave April 10th, and I was in very good shape about a month out from the tour, and I was gonna look good on stage. I was gonna be tip top shape for tour, and then they're just like, all right, we're shutting everything down, and I'm like, all right, bring on the fucking ice cream.
That's right. You're just getting the calories set up so you can turn it all into muscle when the gym's open.
Once the gym opens, man, and I think it actually will be next week. I think so. I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah, they opened them here. Iowa opened last week. So, where you at? Where you at right now? Where you living at right? You're in New Hampshire. So actually, some of those areas there aren't bad. I mean, you got some crazy liberals, liberal governors there, but a lot of them they're not too bad on the outside the big metropolitan areas.
New Hampshire's been pretty good. I mean, the thing is, I think that, like, for the most part, like, we didn't have a lot of mandatory lockdowns, I don't think. I think they were like, gyms and stuff like that, they want you to close, which I guess it makes sense. But they, like Home Depot and everything has been open the entire time. Some places do their stuff, but they're still open. Oh,
that didn't make any sense to me. They're like Home Depot, but you can't have a gym. Well, anyway, we'll go down that rabbit hole, and then by that time it'll be 12:30. We don't have talked about shit. But
right?
So no, it's good talking to you, brother, and it's good seeing it. And again, I always, whenever we've had Dave Silvera and Jimmy Allen, the last two, and I still always reference. I always say the best, because I always say to this day, it still is, and this is how I met Phil. 2 Weeks is still one of the greatest, if not the greatest, rock songs that transcends. And how long is that? How long was that? That's been over 15 years ago, right? That 2 Weeks came out. The song and that's the first song I heard, and that's when I met Phil. And that was I walked in. I knew Hodge because Hodge worked at the agency.
That was 2008.
2008. And I remember I walked in a SHOT Show when I first met Phil, and 2 Weeks was played that all the time. Going out, getting in the set, getting in the light armor vehicles, and I put on All That Remains 2 weeks, and I just jam out. And I remember it was like I was starstruck. Hodge says, "Yeah, this is my buddy Phil." And I said, "Phil who?" He goes, "Phil Labonte." He goes, "From All That Remains." Like I wasn't supposed to know who that was, even though I'm a Ranger, and that's what we listened to, his headbang and shit. I said, "All That Remains." I said, 2 weeks? Because I go, holy shit! I was starstruck, and that's how I got my love affair with Phil started right there. It was awesome.
That's the start of it. So yeah, things are good, man. I'm building a home studio here at the house, so doing as much as I can with the limitations that the lockdowns have put on, because everything's slower. Stuff that I could get done in a couple of days or a week, now it's taking a couple weeks to get stuff done. But slowly but surely, I'll have everything. I should have everything squared away and actually move my whole streaming setup to the home studio probably tonight or tomorrow.
Wow.
So because I stream on Twitch now. I'm not sure the schedule 100% yet, but I've been doing every day now. So that's what I do to keep busy, to keep in touch with fans and stuff. I stream and I play riffs and hang out and do chats, and sometimes I'll play video games and stuff. But I want to make sure that even though All That Remains isn't on tour, people are aware of what we're doing. People know that we're working on new music. As soon as, again, Massachusetts is one of the more restrictive places, and that's where most of the guys in the band are from. So I'll go back to Massachusetts and start working on arrangements and stuff. Once they end the lockdown, which hopefully will be in the next couple of weeks, but we've got a new record that'll be out next year, 2021. We were looking at first quarter, and I think it might end up being second quarter now because of the lockdowns and what COVID's done with the time frame. So maybe second quarter, but I'd still love to see it come out in like March. But I think it's more likely to be like May next year for a new record. So, but we're working on it. We're starting. We have stuff in the oven, or whatever you want to call it. Irons in the fire.
It's interesting too, because I feel like your own personal fan base has become something different and expanded out of All That Remains. Because, for example, people that I follow on Twitter, like Kate Hyde, who we've had on, for example, Kate Hyde doesn't fucking listen to All That Remains. She likes hearing about your political views, your take on things, and I think you've kind of transcended just being a musician, just being a vocalist.
Maybe, and that would be awesome to think that I have an impact outside of the band, but the band has been so good for me, and has been such a wonderful opportunity to meet people, to touch people, to reach people that I might not talk to, or might would never have any other way to any way to communicate with otherwise. So I mean, to be able to say that I have a career outside of All That Remains is a huge, awesome thing. But I never want to forget that it came or comes from All That Remains. That's where it came from. That was the start, and that's really why anyone gives a crap about what a guy a guy like me has to say.
The longevity. You guys have been around. You think about it now. You've been around for a long time, and that's odd.
Yeah.
Just in the music world and the rock world. So how have you, brother? And I've always wondered, how have you maintained that? How have you guys stayed? You're relatively together. You really have. God bless his soul for Ollie. But he didn't just like walk away from the group. That's what happened to Ollie. And we might want to talk. If you want to talk about it, we can. We talked a little bit about Ollie, and I remember just even my brief moments with him, how it was being around a guy like that. But how, with the rest, how have you stayed? How have you guys because usually guys get on people's nerves. I mean, I get on people's nerves after about a couple months. I don't know how the hell you guys do it for years, and you travel together, and
we've had a couple people come and go. I mean, Aaron, he's been in the band since 2015, and Jeannie was in the band for 10 years before that. And so earlier in the band's career, it was harder to get a solid foundational lineup that felt good, that could do everything we wanted to. And we went through a few iterations that way. But once we kind of got our foundation, once we released like This Darkened Heart and then The Fall of Ideals, then it became, pretty clear of what we expected out of people in the band.
Sure.
Anyone that was like, oh, I want to play in All That Remains, they knew that they had to be able to play songs from The Fall of Ideals. They're going to have to be. So then there's a certain level of musicianship that's required. And if you can do that, and everyone does their job, then we're really easy to get along with. It's when people aren't doing their job that we have problems. If you show up for shows and you don't know the songs that we told you to know, you're gonna get treated like you fucked up.
Well, I think that's the Marine mentality, man.
Big boy rules.
Fuck, you got it. And what do? You elevate their feet in the background. Make them do 8 million push-ups, duck walk from the backstage to the front.
Well, I'm embarrassed. I won't do it like in public, like at a show, like when the crowd is there. But when it comes to like, say, the band and the crew, and we're doing sound check, I'll poke fun at someone in front of the crew and band because they fucked up. But I would never do it like in front of like fans, because you don't want to embarrass someone in front of fans. That's mean. But if someone doesn't know something and they're supposed to know it, I'll be pointing and laughing if they fuck up. I'll be like, you don't know your parts. And then everybody, and it only takes a couple times where you're like, and everyone's like, oh, and it fixes people real quick. They're like, shit, I don't want to fucking screw up again,
That peer pressure and that condescending, and you still have that freaking raspy rock voice. Actually, that annoyed the shit out of me right there when you did it. I can understand. I don't want to hear that damn voice again. That sucks. Okay, I'll get it right. I'll get it right, Sergeant Phil. I'll get it right.
It reminds you of drill instructors or drill sergeants.
It does. Immensely. Shit, was that Igor? Was that Igor? Was that Phil? Holy fuck!
Oh,
All right. Sorry, Ian. Dude, I just had to poke fun in front of everybody. I did it. My
All
fault.
right.
You get me back later.
So yeah, I mean, I'm busy and with the band, and that's what we're doing.
Good.
Hoping to get on tour. There's still some shows that haven't been canceled that might actually happen this summer. Some big festivals, and I'd love to see it. So hopefully we'll be back out there, and then the shows that we were supposed to play with Hell Yeah, we can go ahead and
Wow.
make those shows up, because those are just postponed anyways. They weren't canceled, they were postponed. The tickets are still good. If people have tickets for the tour that we're supposed to be on now, they'll be honored later in the year. So hopefully we can make it happen. So.
That's the band that's going to be strange to see, I have to say, without Vinnie Paul behind the drum kit. I mean, such an icon.
Yeah, we've toured with them before, and we did a full month tour with Hell Yeah, and then we've done a bunch of festivals too. So we've known those guys for a long time, and I didn't really know the guys when I didn't know Dime, so I didn't get to meet Dime before he passed away. But basically all my fucking friends did. But I did get to know I get to know Vinny a little bit, and those two losing those two guys is a really, really big hit for the metal community. A really big hit. So last year or not 2 years ago was rough for the metal community. Between it was like we lost Ollie, we lost Vinny, we lost Kyle from We Came as Romans.
Oh yeah,
and that was just the metal, the metal genre. There were other people that were throughout the music industry that we lost, that so it was a rough year. So
yeah, no, I could imagine, and I actually, Tonto was just telling me last episode from his limited experience what a great guy Ollie was, and just speaking with him, and yeah, he's one of those guys who's a long-term member of the band who would still be touring with you as long as you're doing this, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie was the first guy. Ollie was the last guy to join the band of our original 5 members. So I started the band. It was me and Chris Bartlett and Mike Bartlett and Dan Egan, and Ollie joined the band just about a year after we got started. Like I started writing for the band. So I started writing in 1998, and Ollie joined in September of 1999. So yeah, he was the only other original member in the band, and he was my friend for 20 years,
Wow.
So
talking to, and thank you guys. I watched the Madness video again, and like, man, that they really did a good job on that video. Even with Mike Dumb, it did. Like, man, and appreciate you having me in there. But that's just talking to Ollie for just brief, even that time frame there, and he just actually sat down and just started chatting. It was cool as hell. I was like, oh my gosh, Ollie, look at this dude. Just normal. Like I told Ian, he's got the rocker lady, but then you sit down to him, and the dude is so eloquent, so smart, and has the kindest heart, talking to me about how he was going to South America to teach kids how to play guitar. I'm like, dude, this dude's bad. But then he got on the set, and I'm just watching him do the long hair and the just get after it. And it was awesome, bro. I think people, need to see, and if I haven't seen you, even though I got for rest of the soul again, Ollie not there, to see you and just see how you handle yourself on stage, just by me watching you on set, you put out a great show, brother. And that was just my experience with Ollie, and then watching you on do the video when I wasn't doing my little thing on the video. It was tremendous, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, Ollie was definitely, he was a character. He was definitely a character, and he's the kind of dude that when people met him, they always walked away with, like, if they hung out with him, they always had like a story. Like, you couldn't hang out with Ollie and not come away with some kind of hilarious story where you're just like, what are you talking about? Or just something that he says or something that he does that just like makes you go like, what? And you're just like, what are you talking about? Just like, and then he'll just sit there and he'll kind of like give you like a sly smile and go, ha ha, it was just the way that he would play with people and interact with people that he didn't know, whether or not he knew them, but like he'd just walk through the bus and he may or may not have seen the person that's sitting there, and instantaneously he sees him and he's like, all right, that's the person that I'm going to have a little, my little banter with or whatever. And they'll be completely and totally unknowing. And then he'll just say something totally off the wall or do something. And people are just like, huh? And confused. I'm just like, all right, do your thing, just like letting him do his thing. And then they're just like, what? And I'm like, that's Ollie Herbert. And they're like, oh, and Ollie will be like, yeah, and just and ghost and gone, So he's just tons of fun and such such an interesting, cool person and
eccentric,
yeah,
and fun. That's
absolutely.
Yeah, the thing we regularly talk about on this show, and we always say is like the kind of the connecting theme, is we talk about perseverance and overcoming obstacles. And everybody we've had on the show, it comes from a very different background. I mean, at this point, we've had actors on, we've had special operations military veterans on, a few different musicians now at this point. At that point, how did you say, I'm going to keep going with this band full steam ahead, even though he's not with me? Because you guys are still doing great. We're doing big tours until all this hit.
You did.
How do you persevere? Yeah.
Your music didn't change. I mean, nothing. That was what was so amazing, is that you did. It's like, and I know you're feeling it hard in your heart that something had happened, but you made it seamless, brother, and you just kept putting good stuff out there. Even I know emotionally you're hurt.
Yeah, I mean it was. I didn't know what we didn't know what we were gonna do. Like, we didn't know what we should do, honestly. And then when Richardson hit us up, Jason Richardson, the guy that plays lead guitar for us now, he hit us up and he was like, look, I know you guys got stuff coming up, and I know that, Ollie would not want you guys to stop. So if you guys want, I'll jump in and I'll do the stuff. And it was he was initially just going to fill in. And we were like, well, that takes a huge load off of our minds, because we didn't have to worry about if we could find someone or whatever. We could make the decision as to whether or not we wanted to go and do the shows, knowing that we were capable of it. So because that was a big deal. Like,
sure,
it's one thing to be like, okay, we want to do the shows, but can we find someone to fill in? Can we find someone that can do what Ollie did? Because Ollie,
sure.
Ollie's not, Ollie was no joke of a guitar player, and All That Remains music is not easy to play. So we had to find someone that, at first we were like, I don't know if we can even think about doing these shows, because I don't know that we can do this. I don't know if we should do the shows and stuff. But when Richardson hit us up, then we at least knew that if we decided that we wanted to do the shows, or that we should do the shows, that it was the right thing to do, that we did have the ability. And then once that decision was made, then the rest of the decisions seem to be pretty obvious and easy. We got someone that can do it. It's a guy that Ollie really, really looked up to as a player, a guy that looked up to Ollie as a player. Like, they had tons of respect for each other. Ollie used to go and watch Richardson play when he was in Born of Osiris, and he was just like, God, that kid is so great, blah, blah, blah. So we knew it was the right fit. And so once we knew it was the right fit, then it was an easy decision. And Richardson was like, hey, I like playing these songs. I like you guys. Let's keep doing it. So, we'll see what happens with moving forward with writing another record and stuff. We're going to do that now. But Richardson just seemed like the right guy to be in the band.
Sure. And you're right. You have to do it with respect, because you're not just replace. Oh, here, he's just not like a cog in the machine that you can just replace, and it has to be done. And that's cool that you thought of that. I mean, hey, man, we're not sorry. This isn't the machine. All that remains. Ollie, just throw them aside, and we're going to put somebody else in. We got to do it where it means something. And having a guy that respected each other, and sounded like Ollie may have even been a mentor toward. And maybe I'm wrong, because I don't know your new guitarist at all, but even so, having that relationship, bro, that I'm sure that helped and made it cathartic, and getting back on stage and doing it and getting up there again. Because you're right. Ollie wouldn't want to just stop. And that sounds cliche, but that's the God honest truth. Even for the short little bit that I knew, and I don't think did you ever know this? I flew into New Hampshire and flew into Providence Airport. You guys were coming off tour, and it was Ollie and your other guitar player, not Bubbles, not the bass player, Mike, and Ollie, dude, he's like yelled at me through the airport, saw me. That's how cool the dude was. Like, hey, Tano, let's go. And I remember getting that selfie with him, and I thought, man, that's so cool. I haven't seen this dude in 6 months, and he just yelled at me across like I was his best friend, and that's even like even my little stint with Ollie. He had the kindest, nicest, smartassest heart in the whole world, and
Yeah.
well, it's good to hear, bro. And I'm glad. I'm glad you guys are still continuing on, because to me, you're iconic to me. All that remains you, and just because, again, just like Korn and Puddle of Mud and those guys that were out there at that time I was listening to, and it's who I was listening to when I was overseas before I met you, before I fangirled you at the club there in Las Vegas. It's like, man, because it does. It brings back memories of what I was doing in a very austere environments away from home. And your music is stuff that got me through being gone
It's that
for months at a
connection.
time. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's a good.
no, go ahead, brother.
Well, that's a huge thing or that's a really, really big deal to me, that kind of stuff. I didn't when I started playing music, like it was in the 90s, and there was no, there was no war. There was no, like, the first Desert Storm had happened, and then after that, everything was really, really chill. And so when I started playing music, I never thought of being a connection to home for dudes overseas fighting in a war. Like, it never entered my mind that might be something that happens. Because again, in the 90s, the way that it felt was like, war was kind of like a thing it kind of felt like war was a bit of a thing of the past. It really did, at least for me, it did. Because the Soviet Union was defeated. That was the end of that era. And for us, at least me in the 90s, it felt like, okay, well, that I don't see how we're going to have any big wars anymore or whatever. And obviously that's a very naive way to look at it. But that's where I was as a young adult and teenage, late teens, early 20s in the 90s.
Not really, because that was conventional. That's all we knew about growing up was, and I was joining the military in the 95, and I didn't foresee us go. I mean, granted, didn't care if we did. That's why I joined Ranger Battalion. But but it was conventional. Like, we weren't thinking unconventional, which is what the wars are we on with now. Unconventional, small war. But you're right. But that being said, the music definitely did have a connection, and I always, whenever it still comes on octane and turbo. You still hear 2 Weeks pop on, man, and it takes me back to all my deployments, but in particular. In particular, me actually at the embassy annex there when we were in Baghdad, and so I appreciate it too. And maybe that's your military. Maybe that's the Marine that came out of you when you were. I don't know. Tell me when you were singing it. Was it the Marine came out of you singing that song? Is that why? Because that one to me is tremendous. It still is. It's still the best song out there, brother.
I don't know. It just that one everything just kind of came together with that one. And the thing is, that one was when we were putting together the song, the actual riffs, like, we had 17 different arrangements of that song.
Holy crap.
And actually, I don't know if it was 17, but or if it was like it was probably 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever. But we couldn't settle on which part for which part. Which part should be the verse, which part should be the chorus, which part should be the bridge. Because the intro and the verse riff are different. Ollie and Mike are almost never playing the same thing. Like, there's basically 2 different guitar parts through the whole thing. They never play in unison through the whole thing. And so figuring out which voicings we were going to use as the lead melodies and the main it was a lot of work. And once we finally got it together, it was definitely it felt like a load off. We were like, oh, thank God. And then I got into a fight with our label about how the vocals were going to be done, and I was totally wrong. Like, our label was right, and I was fighting to do it a different way, and they were like, no, do it this way, and I was like, no, you guys are wrong, and they were like, well, we're doing it this way, whether you like it or not. And I was like, fuck, you're wrong, and then they were wrong, and I mean, then they were right, and I was wrong, so I was like, fuck, I was wrong, and I was all fighting with them like I thought I was right. I should shut the fuck up. And so that whole fucking song is a big goddamn fucking Like I can't believe that it came out that well because it just seemed like it was going to be a mess from the beginning.
That's a crazy story.
That is a crazy story because it did. When you hear it, it's like, man, this is just perfect. It's like you did it in one take, but now I know. Now I know it took 17 different riffs. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But that is so cool. But that's such a cool story that you just persevered.
Yeah.
And then it's cool that even especially as a Marine that you could admit that you're wrong. That's impossible. I never heard that from Marine. No, I'm kidding. But you did, dude, and it came out perfect. No, I love that story, dude, because that's something I would never know. People would never know when you listen to it.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting. If I could transition here, because you're going back to the Marine Corps days. I know I've spoke to you before, and I feel like anytime you get asked about your time in the Marine Corps, you're like, oh, I didn't really do anything. But I think people would like to hear. Yeah, but I think people would like to hear what motivated you to become a Marine, join the Marine Corps, especially with your background as a vocalist and going back to your love of making this band, trying to create things. And at that time, what made you say, all right, I'm going to put that on hold. I'm going to serve my country.
Yeah, and don't think that you didn't do anything, dude, because basic training is people that haven't gone in the military at all, dude, basic training is pretty freaking. And in the 90s, that's when hazing was going on, dude. So come on. Don't sell yourself short at all.
It was. I completed basic training, and at the very least, I think that basic training allows people to understand that just because things are difficult doesn't mean you stop. And I think that's something that I didn't really realize or didn't learn until basic training. Okay, you're on a forced march or whatever, you're doing something and it starts to hurt. Well, just because it starts to hurt doesn't mean you stop. It starts to hurt. That there is so much more misery that is able for you to experience if you're only now starting to hurt. Right? If it's just starting to hurt, the amount of hurt that you are capable of withstanding from when you start to hurt until you literally can't take it anymore, that's a long way. That is a long way.
It's your brain, buddy. I always tell your body will go forever, ever and ever and ever. It's your brain that says, hey, you big puss, stop it. And that's what, and then you just got to push. That's what basic training in the 90s, the second time I went in, it wasn't as hard. But the first time in the 90s, the hazing, that's where it's same thing. I agree. That's where it gets you that I can go a little bit farther. And you have to go a little bit farther, not because you're pushing yourself because I want to be the toughest. It's because I don't want this drill sergeant yelling at me in the back. I don't want to look like a piece of crap to all my peers around here. You're doing it out of essentially fear, but at least it gets you.
Because you don't want to be the idiot.
Yeah, you don't be that guy.
I don't want to be the idiot. I don't want too much attention. Like, I want to be the guy. I want to be like, if there's a platoon, if the platoon's running and there's there's 30 guys running or whatever, I want to come in about number 8 or number 9, maybe 7. Because I don't want to be too close to the front, because then you get too much fucking attention. I want to be better than the middle of the pack because I want to excel and I want to do well. And fuck being at the end.
You want to be the great. We used to just call that the gray man. You want to be the gray man.
Yeah,
I just want to fly.
Me.
And that's perfect. Well, not anymore. Shit, you ain't the gray man anymore, dude. You're all that rains. Then you go on tour with 5 Finger, and now you're touring the hell. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not anymore. But when I was in the Marine Corps, I wanted to be like, all right, get my shit done and keep my head down.
Exactly. Where did you go Lejeune? Were you on the East Coast or West Coast? We talked about this before but you were on the East Coast, right? You went to Lejeune. Yeah. See, that's no joke. Parris Island is no joke. Now, where did you go get stationed after that when you left Parris Island? And what was your again? And this is for me because I know we talked about Parris Island, but I don't think I ever really got into any more of your Marine career.
Well, like I said, I didn't do anything. I got a medical discharge before I even finished my school, but I was going to be an 0341, so I was going to be mortars. So when you get done with Parris Island, then you got we had a week off, and then I went to then I came back to North Carolina, or I came to North Carolina, and normally you go to Camp Geiger and you do your School of Infantry, or you do your MCT, Marine Combat Training. So every Marine goes to MCT first. Then after that, everyone that has another job that's not an infantry job goes off to, over wherever their school is.
Sure.
Because I was infantry, I stayed at SOI at Camp Geiger. School of Infantry was at Geiger, so I stayed there until I got sent home from SOI in '94. So
would you have a mortar tube following your legs or something? That's no joke. That job is no joke.
I just got fucking shitty ankles, and they fucking kept rolling, and it was the '90s, so they're just like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're fucking if you're gonna keep rolling your fucking ankles, get the fuck out. They just sent me home.
Okay, so who's the brilliant person or was that you that said, well, since I'm pretty much going to be carrying the heaviest load and I have shitty ankles, I'm just going to go to that job.
I didn't know.
Who decided that?
I'm fucking 5'6". At the time I weighed 135 pounds, 140 pounds. And I had no idea of what the fuck, I didn't know shit. I was just, my recruiter was like, if you go to the mortars, I can get you in September. And I was like, if I go in September, that means that I'll miss most of the heat and I'll miss most of the winter. I want to go in September, so I will go and do mortars. It was a dumb idea, believe me.
For those of y'all don't know out there, being a mortarman in the infantry, you are carrying the heaviest packs wherever you go. Yeah. And you're carrying all the tubes, you're carrying the whatever size mortar, whether it's 60. Oh, and I did forget about it if it's the 120s. The base plate. I remember guys at Raytown, let's do our 30 milers. Yeah. Where they base plates, they weren't carrying it, dude. They were because it was so heavy towards the end of it. They were taking it out of the ruck and they were pushing it the rest of the way because they just didn't want to carry it. Yes. It's like, I'm glad I didn't decide to be a mortarman. No, I was like, God, I'm glad I didn't decide to be a mortarman, dude, because that shit looks awful. I was thanking God I was carrying a 240. Yeah.
So did your passion for firearms come after that, or was that something you grew up with?
I'd gone shooting a lot when I was a kid but it wasn't with my dad. My dad wasn't really into shooting. He had a 22 that he never really got, never really took out and shot. But a friend of the family was into shooting and he liked guns. And so I went shooting with him a bunch. Then when I graduated Marine Corps boot camp, he got me my first rifle, which was an SKS, which I still have.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome. The SKS guys, that's the civilians. AK, it'll mess you up, and that's okay. So with the guns, and since we obviously have a pretty big gun listening group, can you talk a little bit more? Because I knew you from the store. I don't know if you still own the store with Rob or not. Do you still have the gun store?
I'm still involved. He moved it out to the street, and he moved it out from his house to a main road, and the main road, the overhead and stuff for the main road was too much. So I told him he brought it back to the house. So he's still got the shop at his place. He's doing the ranch there. I mean, he should have left it there in the first place because he already has the mortgage there. He doesn't need a second mortgage. But anyways, that's not my business.
What are you carrying now? What's your go-to? I know that's just a simple question, but people want to know, what are you carrying? And are you building? And I know you build rifles. I know you're intimately you knowledge. So I'd like to get into all that, man, if you could. I approach guns the way that I approach any other tool. So I like 9mm. I like Glock. So all of my handguns are 9mm and they're all Glocks. And so that way most of the magazines are going to fit. If I grab a magazine, if it's long enough and it fits in the gun, it'll work with the gun. If I grab a handful of handgun ammo, it's going to work with those guns because it's all going to be 9mm. I have AR-15s. They're all in 5.56. So if I grab a magazine, it's a 5.56 magazine. I have one 300 blackout AR that I don't keep with my stuff because I don't want to worry about magazines mixed up. Recently I got a Mark 18 upper, and I've been running a clone. So it's something that you'd be familiar with, Tonto, from when you were in the Army. It's heck with the Surefire light, and I've got an aim point on it, and I like the idea because everybody's doing like
M-lock or key mod, and at some point, the extra material on the full Picatinny rail on the Daniel Defense forend, like that matters. That does add a certain amount of robustness to it over what you've got from your key mods and your M-locks. And I have them. I have multiples of them, and I only have one that's a full Picatinny rail, but I wanted to have at least one that was kind of bomb proof. And the reason, the military goes with the Mark 18 for a reason. So I figured, all right, I'll get one of those, and that's going to be my just in case bomb proof rifle, and then other ones I can have that are kind of Gucci, slick, cool guy rifles and stuff. But I've got one that's the kind of military style bomb proof rifle.
Well, and I agree with guys and I have M-locks and I have key mods, but I still like the Picatinny. A Picatinny, and people, it adds a little bit of weight to it. Wait, are you kidding me? At what, 6 ounces? We'll get in the gym, guys. You can't carry that extra little bit of weight, but it does. It adds to robustness, and really still the majority of stuff that you get that come with all the attachments are fitted when they come out of the box, or that's most of them are for Picatinny rail systems.
Totally.
And then you have to get this attachment to get. It's like getting an Apple phone and then having to get all these different attachments you have to buy just to fit. And that's like, gosh, let's just keep the Picatinny rail system. But that being said, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I do have weapon guns with M-lock systems, but even on those, I add an attachment to Picatinny rail to the M-lock. So it just goes back to
It's true. And I like the M-lock stuff, and I like the key mod. I mean, I don't know if you can see I got a Noveski up there with a key mod on it, and I like the stuff, but I think that having something that's overbuilt, or at least built specifically to be bomb proof, or at least as close to bomb proof as you can get away with, have at least one of those. It's not a bad idea, especially seeing as I have multiple rifles.
Yeah, that's good on you on the 300 blackout, keeping it separate from the 5.56. I have made that mistake before where I got to talking to somebody and I had 300 round 300 blackout rounds in my pocket. So I'm punching mags for a 5.56, and I talked. And every time I go to the range, somebody wants to talk, and hey, that's not their fault. I'm not paying attention, and I pushed 2 rounds in there. And believe me, when that 300 blackout, and it did feed, that did feed in the chamber, and I heard that, and I shot, and this was actually, I was with a class, I was teaching with the class, and I shot in the whole gun, and guys, if you put a 300 blackout in a 5.56 gun, it's going to blow up, and it did, it blew up. Now the coolest thing though is the class is that I remember it blew up. And I was like, son of a gun. I looked, and that's all I thought in my head, like, shit, because I knew exactly what had happened. I still couldn't figure out what had happened, how they got in there. But I remember I looked at it, and the gun's tore up. The whole lower is blown apart. The bolt's blown apart. And everybody, all they could think of, because I just kept, I was like, man, it blew up. Everybody couldn't believe that I didn't freak out. I'm like, guys, I've had things blow up in front of me before. Nothing, no harm, no foul. And that was on the eval. They're like, the class was fantastic. At least next time react when a gun blows up in your hand. And
I would be surprised if your heart rate even went up.
I was just pissed. I was mad, and I did just that. I just went, son of a bitch, because I knew what I did wrong. And I was due. It'd been 18. I hadn't had any accidents in I don't know how many years, 15, 16 years, none. And I was like, I was like, shit. Go ahead.
The thing, you mentioned that you hadn't had any accidents in a long, long time. The thing is, if you're around guns long enough, there will be some kind of accident. That's why it's so important that you always make sure that you're not pointing guns at people. That's why the most important rule. Never point a gun at someone. And I'm super happy that we can just touch on this real quick, because I'm sure that everybody watching is we're all big boys here, and I'm sure that there's not a lot of people that are watching this or listening that don't have experience. But it's great that we can point to the fact that, look, if you're around guns, because we're human, if you're around guns for long enough, there's gonna be an accident. So the thing you have to do is make sure you never point it at anyone.
You're right. You're exactly. How many? I probably by that.
I've done it.
Dude, me too, brother. And how many rounds have we shot? I know I've shot tens of thousands of rounds. Been on ranges, real world. And it's going to happen. And I always tell people, especially during the class, the muzzle needs to be where it needs to be when it needs to be there. What that's being saying is that, yeah, keep your muzzle away from anything. And with the safety of getting cliche, anything that you're not willing or ready to destroy, which means that, hey, you got to be responsible for that round. Don't put that muzzle towards anything that really, bottom line isn't trying to kill you, or it's not a paper target. And I always tell people to, always be 2 steps away from a catastrophic accident. So keep that muzzle down range, keep your finger off the trigger. If the muzzle is pointing at somebody and your finger's off the trigger, you're still 2 steps away. Don't do that, but I say always be 2 steps away from a catastrophic failure or a catastrophic accident. And I kept the muzzle down. Again, it was, and that was that to me. I remember walking back from the range, and this was a weird feeling. And I remember thinking to myself, man, it's that I actually felt good. I felt when that blew up, I was like, man, I felt at home. That's why I said to the ranger, I felt at home again. I was like, God, that felt so good.
You got a little taste of that adrenaline again.
You're
like, oh man.
Man, I miss it. Yeah, and I had I did get caught with a little shrapnel on the arms. I was wearing my HD vision glasses, and they are ballistic because I got hit with shrapnel in my face, and they bounced off the glasses.
That's a nice endorsement for the glasses.
Yeah,
especially for the people who are always like, you don't wear those fucking glasses.
Oh, brother, I tell people, every picture you see of me at the range, it's with those HD vision glasses. But I'm not going to endorse it. Dude, they've made a shitload of money off me, and I ain't seen a dime. So, but Phil, that's what I love talking with Phil, because Phil is an avid gun. He's not a crazy. Hey, I'm gonna go in the governor's place and have an RPG pointed at her door. But but he knows what he's talking about, and he shoots. But he also knows safety, and that's what's wonderful that he's talking about it. Is that what's the first thing? Yeah, we talk about shooting thing, but safety, man, safety, because it is. The accidents do happen. Murphy's going to get you, and no matter how much you shoot, something, and it doesn't have to be something bad's going to happen where you shoot yourself or shoot somebody else or anything. God forbid that ever happens. It doesn't happen that often. But
Chris, there was this one time, where we were at the shop and this guy brought in a gun, and he had, it was an AK mag out, and he's all like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. He's sitting there talking about his gun, blah blah blah, and he finally gives it over to Ian, the guy that was my partner there at the time. And first thing Ian does is grabs grabs it and racks it and pulls it back, and what comes flying the fuck out but a goddamn fucking 7.62 by 39 motherfucker. And it's like, oh really, dude, that you were just talking about your gun and waving it around and blah 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 blah. That shit happens all the time. I've had negligent discharges myself at the range where I'm like dicking off or whatever, and thankfully, just like you said, 2 steps away, two steps
from an accident,
two things. And or whatever, I've done that stuff myself. So any time that I can have a conversation like this and touch on, let's remind everybody about safety stuff, I jump at the chance, and I love to have the opportunity to talk about it, especially with professionals that know the rules. Because if we're talking about it, dudes like you and people that shoot a lot like me and stuff, if we're talking about it and we talk about it like it's important, and we don't poo-poo the ideas and make jokes about it, then we can relay how important it is to other people that it not be something that you make jokes about, and you take it seriously, and you don't do it overly seriously, so that way it's a drag, but you talk about it. So it's just, I like to be able to touch on these things because they're so very, very important. So
we don't take it for granted. We bottom line,
absolutely,
like anything else, don't take it for granted. And just like your profession, when you go out and on stage, you're not like you said, you don't take it for granted that people know the song. They got to know the damn songs. That's taken for granted. It's the same shit. But that's professionalism, and that's what it should be. And professionalism isn't that you always have to speak eloquently. You can't drop an F-bomb here. I always tell people that doesn't mean you have to wear a suit. Professionalism is that you take your job or whatever your niche is, and you take it seriously, every facet of it. And that, man, that's I love talking guns with you, dude. We could go on another show and just talk about guns the whole time. Yeah,
talk guns all goddamn day, man.
But I can't. I think we have a course out in New Hampshire. We had one scheduled. When the hibbity-bibbity virus kicked off, though, I don't know if it still stayed on or not. I know I still have one in Maine, but if we're in New Hampshire and the course is still going on, I know it's by you. You're always welcome to come out, man. Come out and shoot.
If if you're in Cheshire, I'll definitely be there, man. That'd be awesome.
It
I'll
just depends.
do my best to be at the main one. Unlike you guys though, I'm very limited in my skills, so I'm looking forward to learning some stuff. But for those who don't know, Phil, as I said, is an awesome follow on Twitter at Phil That Remains. And because you're so active on Twitter, we don't get too political on this show, but I do have to ask, man. The big news today, as we're recording this, is the big news on Twitter is Trump saying, I'm going to do an executive order regarding social media. I just have to hear your take on it because you always have like a good libertarian take on things.
Well, I haven't heard what the executive order regarding social media is.
Me neither. I don't think any of us have,
I'm not clear as to what authority the Constitution grants to the executive to influence what is essentially private property and freedom of speech, right? So I think ostensibly what he's talking about is there is an amount of censorship of conservative perspectives, and I think that that's true. I think that
there's no think, brother. It is. When I was on Twitter,
okay.
Oh no, there's shadow banning and shit that go on, and no, there is. That's to say that, to think that no, and for all you guys, Jack at Twitter, you shadow ban the shit out of guys like us. You do.
I think at least for the purposes of this conversation, we'll say that yes, there is censorship on it. Now, whether or not the president should be or can say anything about it or has any authority, I'm not clear as to why the president should. They're talking about platforms versus publishing, and I'm not sure the legalities of that. I'm not sure if they have an obligation to present both sides of a story or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't know that I have an opinion on it because I don't think that I know enough about it. I like, just like Chris said, I'm aware of the fact that there are conservatives that get their
sure.
That get banned and shadow banned and that there is censoring and conservative ideas get treated as second class ideas and stuff like that. So that I agree that is happening, and I do think it's bad, and I really wish that there was something that could be done about it, but I don't know that the government is the route to take.
I agree completely, and I just like you, at least as of when we're recording this on Thursday, I don't know what the executive order is, but my thought is the president of all people is someone this could backfire on because let's be honest, he's been all over Twitter the past few days throwing out conspiracy theories that Joe Scarborough murdered while the woman who died, her own husband, is on Twitter saying, no, Joe Scarborough did not murder my wife. So the president puts a lot of crazy shit on Twitter too, and they might say we're gonna have to censor this.
Yeah. So the president was one of the first people that Twitter used a new feature on, which is it's supposed to be like a fact check thing, like a feature where the tweet goes up, they don't take it down, they put the tweet up, and there's a link that is supposedly to fact check it. But the problem is, the very first time the fucking Twitter used it, they fucking sent the link to just an opposing opinion that isn't actually a fact. It's just like, yeah, so it's like, it's literally, it's just like, they're like, oh, we're going to go ahead and link this opposing opinion. But it's just an opinion. It's not a fact. So it's like, how are you going to fact check? So it's already become a goddamn shit show is basically what I'm getting at. It's already become a trash fire because that's exactly what Twitter is. It's a dumpster on fire forever.
It is. I agree, man. The government doesn't need to get. Twitter is what it is. If you don't like it, then get off it. Or on the other end, then the conservatives, why don't they start their own Twitter? Again, there's other but have an executive order to get in there and try to. But no, you can't. It violates free. It does. It violates free speech. As much as I dislike the guy Jack from when I was on Twitter because I know what he was doing to my. But that being said, no, it's an open forum. He started it. They can do whatever the hell he wants with it. I mean, if that's the case.
Another thing, Chris, I think that I don't think that people are giving enough credit to the fact that Donald Trump is the president. If he goes and says, you know what, screw this, I'm not using Twitter anymore, I'm going to use this other this other platform. So there's another platform called Parler, and there's another
Yeah.
one called Gab, I guess. If he
There's
goes
one
to
called
another
Cloud
platform,
Hub. I know there's a conservative
yeah,
one.
and
You know, Tom and Deneen Borelli are
You know,
on there.
people
Cloud
would.
Hub.
I get where you're
people
going.
follow him.
Fuck yeah, they would. So we're guys. We develop our own problems, and then we maintain our own problems, and then we bitch about our own problems. And either you can do one or two, like Ian and like Phil saying, "Hey, President Trump, jump over the other one." Then how many people are going to
Yeah.
follow you? Or you can be like me and just biv your finger out to both of them and say, "Fuck all y'all. I'm not going to get on anything because I don't want to be part of this shit show anymore." That there's so. But I totally agree with you, dude. And 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have said that. I would have said, "Nah, you can do whatever you want. Twitter sucks." But now, 2 years later, and me thinking clearly now, actually, because I've got off all that stuff and having actually an open mind again, I agree with you. I'm like, no, it's jack shit. He started it. It's
the one argument I'll make that's actually probably even against our own argument, which I do understand when you say, oh, you can just start your own thing. We had Alex Jones on the show, Phil, which was actually pretty cool. And we focused a lot on the shadow banning stuff, and we talked a lot about the deplatforming. And the point that I think we made with Alex, which is true, is these social media platforms, whether it was Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they all started out saying, this is where you can go for free speech. You can say whatever you want on here, and we're not going to censor you. And it wasn't until they basically became a monopoly and everyone was on there that they then said, now we're going to censor you. And it's pretty hard to compete against that.
True. It is true. And I don't think you're wrong. I think that when Google's motto was "Don't be evil," right? When Twitter used to be free speech absolutists. I don't know if they realized exactly. I'm not sure if it was that they didn't think they would become the size platforms that they've become, and they would have the influence, or if they were just really naive and didn't think that absolute free speech means that you're gonna have to defend terrible speech, because anytime you defend free speech, you always have to defend the terrible speech, because nobody wants to stop people from talking about the sports. Nobody wants to. No one's going to try and censor your ability to say that the Miami Dolphins suck. No one's going to do that.
Yeah.
No one's going to censor your ability to say, I hate Tom Brady. That's not what's going to get censored. It's going to be really controversial things. It's going to be things that people are going to say, yes, of course you shouldn't be allowed to say that. And then you're going to say, well, wait a minute.
Right. Yeah.
Do we believe in the principle of free speech, or don't we? And then people are going to say, wait a minute, I really do have to think about it. Because if you believe in the principle of free speech, you have to defend horrible speech. You don't get to be a defender of free speech and look like you're defending good guys. You don't defend good guys when you defend free speech. You always defend bad guys.
I think the thing that changed everything is that the creators of these platforms felt, because most of them, let's be honest, are left wing. They felt responsible for the election of Donald Trump. And in the days of the 90s and early 2000s, when you could only get your news from CBS, NBC, all of that, Donald Trump probably wouldn't have been elected, I think, if not for social media, because it was the people able to say, this is what we like, fuck the media, this is our opinion. And those are the people that elected Donald Trump. And you know what else Alex Jones said that is true? He's like, and I don't agree with everything Alex Jones says, but he's like, they'll deplatform me, but actual Nazis, actual white supremacists like David Duke are allowed on the platform. How does that make sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't make any sense. But I don't know what I feel like it's more actually about the culture war than it is about Nazis or real racists or whatever. People that are real racists, I feel like it's obvious they're real racists. Like they want to tell you that they're real racists. Like David Duke wants to tell you that he doesn't like black people or Jewish people. He wants to talk about that. If you talk to David Duke and if he comes on a podcast or your show, he's going to want to tell you, I don't like black people, I am a racist. Like, that's what he wants to do. You don't have to like try and like tease out racism from racists. If they're racist, they want to tell you.
They are.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to you don't have to use sneaky tactics to get racists to tell you that they're racist. They just want to tell you because they're like, I don't like black people. I don't like the Chinese people. I don't like these people. They want to tell you. You don't have to like trick them. And like, so going after Alex Jones, who's not a racist, he's just a weird, fun guy. I call him fun because I think
He's fun.
Don't get mad. He's fun. But he's just a weird guy. Going after Alex Jones as a racist or a Nazi doesn't make sense because he's not. If he was, he would tell you.
He would
because
tell
that's
you.
what racists do. They tell you, I don't like the black people. I don't like the Jewish people. Like they tell you they're racist.
Yeah.
They want to tell you, you know?
I agree. Me, the only saying to compete or get these whatever these social media sites, make them accountable. The only way to do that is develop, like you talked about, and Donald Trump could even do this. Just develop a competitor, something that competes against them. That's what always you see the truth. Just getting something that is a group doesn't have a monopoly. So yeah, I completely agree. That was the smartest thing I've heard, and that and I don't know. Again, why didn't I think of that? Hey, Donald Trump, if you don't want people following Twitter, jump over to the other one because you're going to get 8 million people on who know, but you're going to get a lot going over there. And now you've got a competitor. Now they're competing against each other.
And they're going to have to cover him too. Like Brian Seltzer loves Donald Trump. Right? Like if it,
very sarcastically, yeah.
Jim Acosta loves Donald Trump. They may not admit it. They may love him because they love to hate him, but
their household names now because of him ridiculing them, and you can't even tell me for a second they don't love it.
Johnny, just because you mentioned him, could I throw something out there completely irrelevant? Do you know Brian Stelter is the same age as me? He looks like he's fucking like in his late 50s.
How old is he?
I'm 33. He's either 33 or 34.
Holy shit! Are you kidding me?
Look it up. Yep.
Oh my god,
terrible.
that's as shocking as this is going to shock you as well. George W. Bush and Sylvester Stallone were born on the same exact day.
And well, I tell you what, which one takes human growth hormone and which one doesn't?
I want to be Sly Stallone. George Bush looks like a bag of shit compared to fucking Sly.
Sly still looks good in Expendables, man.
Hell yeah, he does.
He still does look good, man. I just saw that yesterday.
Steve Rogers, man.
He's doing stem cells and all that other shit to keep it going. I don't give it, and I don't care because I still love Sly Stallone, man. That's what I grew up on.
Hell yeah, I love Sly, and I tell you what, whatever they're pumping into Steve Rogers to make Captain America, Sly got his hands onto that. I tell you what, man.
That's hilarious. Oh, brother, that's awesome.
This has been great, man. I think we covered so much different stuff, and I love the fact that we can get it to firearms, social media, your upbringing, Second Amendment, and it's once again, allthatremainsonline.com, at Phil That Remains on Twitter, on Instagram. This has been a blast. I don't know. And on Twitch. Actually, you know what? The one last question I want to ask, unless you have anything else, Tonto, is because I'm wondering, how did the video for Madness even happen? What made you call up this guy and say we wanted to portray the character?
Actually, I got a call from your publicist when I was speaking in Long Beach, or your manager, or whoever it was, and it was cool. I forget his name. He's cool as hell. But other than that, I don't know either. Tell me. I'd like.
He was with the guy that was our manager at the time, Ian. We're still with the same company. We're working with a different guy though. Ian. He reached out, but the idea was just because of the subject matter of Madness. It was when we wrote that song. It was 2016, and the world seemed like everything was fucking going crazy.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of like, well, how can we tie this song in to something that actually matters, like to something that is going to, have some kind of benefit. And so then we were like, we can talk to Chris, and we can do something for Chris's foundation, or we can do something for people that are going through PTSD and stuff like that, and just do something to contribute, because there's I was in the military, and I at the time I recently separated from my wife, but at the time my wife had been in the military, and we had dealt with PTS and the stuff that goes along with that. So it was something that was important to me, and so the fact that we could reach out to Chris and Chris could help us out, it just seemed like like a no-brainer. It seemed like a great idea. So.
Again, it was a no-brainer if you knew how much, and I think now you know how much I fangirled over the group, and it was when you said like, oh my, are you kidding me? Of course, all that remains. And I'll go into the whole Iraq story again. I won't, because I've done it 3 times now. But I was like, where do you want me to be there? And honestly, the video turned out great. And I'll be honest, I was going through. I think I even talked to you the night before. I was going through some heavy self-inflicted, though. It was all self-inflicted, but some heavy shit that I was all fucked up in the head. So a lot of that wasn't acting. I don't know how to act. I honestly felt that way. I was like, man, my world's caving in right now. It's supposed to be the greatest time of my life. Everything's so great, right? I'm out running around doing whatever I want. I'm single. And it was probably one of the worst years of my life. And the video was all. But looking back now, watching the video, I don't. It's like, God, that was a terrible year. It was like, man, look at that. There's something good came out of that year. A bright moment where I'm working with a guy like the group that I've emulated forever. I get to be in this video that's tremendous. The song is outstanding. And then the end of it with the little girl. The little girl did look a lot like my daughter, Adeline, that at the time. And I'm like, man, everything came out right. It's like, it was almost poetic watching it now. So, Brad, thank you, dude. Thank you.
It was special, man.
It meant a lot to me. And you're right, guys. If for anybody out there, all that remains, Phil Labonte is huge. Of course, being a veteran, but is a huge veteran supporter, huge military supporter, and always getting out the awareness for post-traumatic stress. And thanks for calling it PTS, dude. That's fucking awesome. And not PTSD. Man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Post-traumatic stress. Yeah. It's not about something wrong with someone.
It's a badge of honor. It's what you experience. It's something that you've done that nobody else can say that they've did unless they've done through it yourself. So, man, you're awesome, brother. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
Great having Phil Labonte on, and truly a supporter of veterans, truly a guy who's known in the Second Amendment community because of stuff on Twitter. And you know what? I should say with that, when I threw out who we had coming on this month, Hero Soap Company reached out and they were like, Phil Labonte, let's get on this episode. And you know what? We have so many great sponsors, but of all the sponsors, the one that I use constantly every morning, sometimes at night, just because I want to use their product, is Hero Soap Company. The best soap out there, bar none. You were going to fall in love with this stuff. Every scent, I've tried like pretty much all of them at this point, is amazing. My skin doesn't get dry. So I can't speak more highly of them. No chemicals, dyes, or fragrances. No parabens that are found in common soaps that link to breast cancer and reproductive complications in men. Veteran owned by Luke. Great guy. Focused on veteran charities to build housing for vets in need. And for their subscription, which they do, they send overseas to a deployed location an equal amount of soap that you're buying on your subscription, which really helps guys out. It gets shipped straight to their door every month and your door. So no worry of running out. Dudes always run out of their products before buying new or more, which is why I personally just stocked up. And I also like to try all the different scents. So no contract, cancel at any time. Their slogan is let freedom clean. And you could use Battleline at checkout and get 15% off your order. You could even combine that with the subscription for 10% off for best savings, which once again gets sent to guys deployed overseas who could really use that right now. And convenience of having your soaps delivered straight to your door. Prior to this company, Lucas would always run out of soap completely before getting more, and thinks a lot of men have that same issue. So I've tried pretty much all of them at this point. I'm currently using the Spearmint, which I really love, but I've tried, man, I've had the charcoal, the woods, which I know is probably your favorite, the peppermint and cool, which is, that is just like,
that is awesome.
It's an experience, truly. And it's sold out right now, but I do have some of that grit scrub, which hopefully they bring back. I've had mine for a while because I don't run out. It's not something I use every time, but when I come back from a run and really scrub that grit scrub into my feet, unbelievable. I love their stuff. I really do.
And it lasts. I'm still, what did I buy? 5 bars, and what was that? I think that was 10, 11 shows ago, and I still have 2 bars left. It lasts for me. It lasts forever. It's worth the money. And Boss brother, I got the lime and sea salt. I
I've
love
had that
that
one.
lime and sea salt.
You know what? It makes me smell like a margarita. I
I
kind of
smell
like
like
it.
I thought it smelled like key lime pie. I was like, man,
Yeah,
this
that
stuff's
too.
awesome.
No
So
joke. It made me because I think the salt and lime I rarely drink, but I was like, I'm kind of in the mood for a margarita
I
right
don't know.
now.
Honestly, I think I thought key lime pie, but you're probably right on that. Maybe that's the smell because I do like maybe a margarita every once in a while.
Yeah,
But all the soap, the cedar and charcoal I got right now, fantastic
I
stuff.
love that one. At first, you put it on and you're like, yeah, it's like black.
Yeah, like
And
what is going on? Is this
it's a good smell though. Is the wood still your personal favorite?
The woods, just because veteran guys, I'm telling you, if it will remind you of cleaning the barracks with pine oil when you're in basic training, because you will smell Fort Benning woods. You're going to smell the dirt, and then you're going to smell the pine oils, and it's not a bad smell. Like people are going, ew, I want to smell it. No, it's still, you smell clean. And it does. You go back to basic training, cleaning them damn barracks with pine oil in Fort Benning, Georgia, or Parris Island, somewhere where it's musty and on the East Coast, but you don't smell. I wish I could explain it more, but veterans, if you get it, and I'm telling you, if you
I
get the
love it.
woods and you put it on, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like when you get off a big road march, you're rucking for 30 miles, you get in. You take off your rucksack. You're stinky. You smell like ass. And you get in the shower. You get a chance to get in the shower. You wash off. That's what you smell like, and that's what you feel like. And I'm not kidding. And this stuff is fantastic. And no, I will always use Hero soap. I won't use anything else. In fact, people else, what it's not gonna last for a long time. No, it has. I've 6 bars, and I think I've been on. I know it's been 6 months, man, since I've ordered some. It's been a long time. I
ordered a whole bunch at the start of this pandemic thing. The eucalyptus, I really like that one. And yeah, I used to be, and I'm sure there's many guys in the audience, I just would buy a big case of Dove soap from, the local CVS, and you can't go back now. Like, and
No.
I used to have that and a body wash and I, switched up, but nothing compares now. I don't want to use anything else. I really mean it. I mean, some of you listening are probably like, he's really talking up this soap, but until you try it, you don't know. It's great stuff. And Lucas is also just such a big supporter of ours that I like supporting him and the company.
And they support guys at the very least, especially all you out there that support veterans. They support veterans in sending soap downrange. That is all you get when you're downrange is soap. If you don't get stuff sent to you, you get Irish Spring and you get Dove, and that's just, you have no idea how something different downrange, something like this, will make the day go. Just make it brighter, and you feel at home, or it brings a good feeling up, and it means a lot. So yeah, support Hero Soap, and if you haven't tried their soap and you do, I'm totally agree with Ian. You won't go back to anything else. So be advised, if you try it, no joke, you will not go back to anything else but Hero Soap. But that being said, too, like Ian just said, he stopped using body wash. So if you're using body wash and soap, really, you're not spending any more money because now you've eliminated something else that you would normally buy from the store. So I'm in total agreement with Ian. The soap is all I use. And right now I'm using the charcoal, and it is kind of cool that first little bit watching, like, wait, the charcoal, I'm all dirty. Why am I all dirty? but then it rinses off, and you just feel clean. And there's no film. And you're right.
Smell good.
Smell good, and you're not dried. I'm not completely dried out.
Yep.
So yeah, tremendous.
Yeah,
stuff.
with others I do get dry. So yeah, herosoapcompany.com, offer code Battleline for 15% off, and then you can combine that with for 10% off with the subscription. And of course, gotta let you guys know once again, Fort Scott Munitions. We talked a lot about firearms this episode with Phil. They're a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammo. It's designed to tumble upon impact. That's their trademark. If you go to their YouTube, as Chris often says, you'll really see what these bullets do. This ammo was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. it was found that not only did that TUI, tumble upon impact ammunition, outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it also quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. So with that ammo, that CNC spun ammo, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring you're going to receive the same results with every pull of that trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses, like probably in New Hampshire, where Phil is a part of, in all 50 states, as well as directly online through FortScottMunitions.com. Use exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of this podcast, the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. This has been a really cool episode. This past month has been so many episodes, and yes, we're going back to the one a week. We're going to have a kick-ass new intro for next month when you guys hear it. I'm really stoked on that. So I know you're hearing this on the first. Probably by next episode, we're going to have a brand new intro, or, very soon after. We'll be back in studio, or I will, so the sound quality is going to be back up to par. We'll get some in-studio guests as well. And you know what I should point out? Yesterday I got home, and I know you could see my camera, and right at my door, Chris Wallace's new book, Countdown 1945.
Oh, yeah. Well, how's that going? Are we gonna get old Chris Wallace on?
Chris Wallace is coming on. Absolutely.
Oh,
so he'll be on at some point next month, and I thought it was really cool because I didn't reach out to him. His people reached out to me and said Chris would love to come on with Chris, and I said,
"That's awesome.
Of course."
No, I again, that's just another guy. I don't speak. I said that too in Fox Studios. I said that, name drop there. I said that one time to and he's an asshole. Geraldo Rivera. I said, yeah, man. I used to watch. My mom used to watch you, and he's so insecure. He's like, because I basically called him an old man, and he is. He's like 80. But I was actually saying it respectfully. I was like, dude, you are an icon. But he took it so. Oh, your mom watched me. How old is she? I'm like, fuck you, Geraldo. But the guys like Chris Wallace, I know, didn't think like that. But that to me, that's again another iconic guy that's been around forever. That's transcended. That his name, he's been in the media and news for forever. And there's a reason. It's because he's good at what he does, and he's back in that old school when. Well, I don't know. I guess when news was news, it wasn't manipulative propaganda. But I think there's arguments to that too.
Yeah, no, but I agree. But even today, you and I mainly see eye to eye on this. I think in a world of fake news, he really is one of those guys who keeps his integrity. And that's why currently there's a lot of Trump supporters who are like, they don't like him because he'll ask a tough question, and that's what journalists are supposed to do. He's not a pro-Trump guy. He's not an anti-Trump guy. He is completely objective. When he had Dr. Birx on the show, why does Trump insist on not wearing a face mask? And it's a fair point. And I know people will ask, oh, why is he asking that? Is he attacking the president? He's allowed to ask that. And I think he's a great journalist. And I should throw out there, this book that I'm holding up, but you guys don't see, is about the making of the atomic bomb. So what a fascinating subject that I would love to hear, and I'm sure he really did his research on this. And the subtitle, The Extraordinary Story of the Atomic Bomb and the 116 Days That Changed the World. And it truly did change the world. The greatest minds meeting together and forming the most devastating weapon that could ever be formed.
It'll be a good interview. And FY for you guys, I spoke with Ranger Sergeant Matty Waters, who lost a leg in Iraq. Actually, was during the incident with Medal of Honor winner Ranger Leroy Petrie. And Sergeant Waters is still, even though he only has one leg, he is, he's an EOD tech with Tacoma Police Department, so he's working.
Right.
I talked to him today, Ian. I know I was going to tell you offline, but since we got everybody on, I think so people know that we're still going to have veterans that have been through some shit on, especially Ranger. Matty has agreed to come on, and Matty was my mentor because Matty was a Tab Spec 4 when I was a Ranger Private. I looked up to him. He's tremendous, and of course, his toughness. Come on, you're losing a leg and you're still out there diffusing bombs for a police department. Yeah, you're pretty badass. So we'll have him on. Hopefully, and we can get him on in July, and then also John Borg, John St. Nick, who is my teammate and CIA operative, who has his own book called John 1513, who writes for a faith-based book company.
Nice.
So we'll get
well,
those.
we'll
We'll get
reach
those
out to
together.
all these guys. I want to get some people to come in studio, of course. And then you've already seen, we're gonna have Scott Dwyer on, the brother
Yeah.
of George Dwyer, also a Marine. And Scott even said to me himself, he's like, I don't really want to focus so much on my service. So we'll talk about his brother, who was a dear friend of both of ours, and it's hard to believe, man. It is just about coming up on a year since we lost Drew Dwyer, and that's why I reached out to Scott, who I've actually never talked to in person, so I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be a good one. And yeah, Drew, we'll talk about Saint. And forever, all you people out there listening, if there's any prospective people that want to come on the show, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. We won't get wrapped up into things unless we go down that rabbit hole together. If we go down with that rabbit hole together with like Alice, then that's on us. But we're not going to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We just want to talk. And there's things that both me and Ian just want to know. And I love that. I love that we can get into things that maybe we didn't even plan on.
Oh, yeah.
It's always about adversity and obstacles, and then we laugh and have fun, and that's the show, and that's how it should be. So I'm just appreciative to all the guests we've had on so far that have made this great, man. And even the days that I don't want to come on the show because I'm like, shit. But Ian's right. He's like, yeah, you get on, you start talking, you can't shut up because you're having fun. Ian's right again. Igor, you are right again, as usual, brother.
I actually think that the fact that we just, I think, create an environment that's fun, that is not about, we have to get into this, we have to get into that. People open up because they're comfortable. It's just like they're hanging out, and they are going to talk about deep stuff. I didn't know the stuff Debbie Rochon was going to talk about. We're just going to talk about the movie industry, and she got into all types of deep stuff and felt comfortable about it. And that's really what it's all about. There's no agenda. It's just us being us, and hopefully people enjoy it, which I think they have been. And if you do enjoy it, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That really helps us out. But no, I think you'll, if it feels like this month has been a lot, you'll get back to feeling good about it, because we're going to do one show a week. And I know for you, you want to keep it fun and not make this be a full-time job. And I get that.
Yeah, and that's where I got to be myself. I've known from the 3 years prior to this, where I just ran myself ragged, that and I'm never phoning it in, but there's times where I feel good and there's times where I don't. And whether it comes across or not to you listeners out there, or when I talk, it doesn't matter to me. I know I'm not 100%, and I always want to give 100% for people out there. And that's what you should always want to do. You always want to give your best, put your best foot forward. So Ian, I appreciate that. And I'm going to start getting busy again too, and it really just runs me ragged. So, but you never know. We may be getting back to 2 shows every once in a while. If we do, we do, and we'll let you know. Yeah,
you do know, though, there's probably some truck driver who's been driving for 16 hours listening to the podcast,
going,
being
you
like,
pussy,
listen to this guy
talk
about he can't talk on a show for 2 hours.
Listen to this pussy. It's all right. I've done my time too a little bit, brother. So I feel like I can have something to say. I'm trying to enjoy all the time that I missed being away from home, not just running around in the States, but it is. But it's fun. It is fun, man. So you can call me a pussy out there. It's all right. I don't have a problem. I'll get over it.
I'm not. I just know that the audience is hardworking Americans. They really are. A lot of our audience are those essential workers. There's nurses who listen. There's truckers, and they have a much tougher job than either of us, at least right now. I'm not talking about when you were a contractor or Army Ranger.
Oh, no.
For them, teaching classes which you enjoy and are passionate about, doing a podcast, they're probably like, that's the dream. I don't want to be driving a truck for 18 hours. Some of them do. Some of them love it,
And well, that's where I hope you all get to a point here. And I'm blessed. I am completely blessed. And that my path is, and I've chosen the right path sometimes. Sometimes I haven't, but God always seems to get me back on the correct path. I get lucky that way. I'm blessed. Everybody wants to get to a point where they say, you know what, I put my time in, and now it's time for me to do what I want to do and enjoy it. Well, that's where I'm at right now, and I'm blessed to be at that point that I can do that. But it was a lot of pain and suffering for 20 some years to get to that point, and a lot of learning, and then also a lot of listening to God. Just the same, and going, hey man, I don't know what to do. Lord, help me. I don't know. Give me an idea. Give me something. And me actually being quiet for enough times that I can listen, even if it may be quiet for a week a month or anything, and just saying, okay, here's the path, I got it, and shoot down that path. And again, I've been blessed, and I hope all y'all out there get to that same point in your life where you can do that. But and who knows when that's going to be. And don't try to plan it out. Just keep listening. Keep your ear out there, because God's telling you. Sometimes we just got to be quiet and listen every once in a while, and that's where we're at, man. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? I think it does.
Oh yeah, amen. That's well said. Yeah, God bless all you guys in the audience, and hopefully
Definitely.
we're adding some positivity to your life. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy your week and are getting out there and enjoying this great weather we're starting to have in most parts of the country.
Yep. Enjoy yourselves, guys, and work hard. But when you get a chance to take a break and take a breath, and then get back after it again. And God, man, all you out there appreciate it. And Ian, man, Ian's still keeping this thing rocking. So I have to do a minimum amount of work as possible, but be the bitch every once in a while and say, Ian, I don't want to do 2 weeks. I only want to do one. But man, thank you all out there for listening. And again, thanks for, I want Medieval Industries for coming on. And again, dude, you guys looking for attachments? I know I'm giving them an extra shot, but I really feel like I need to, because it's stuff that's essential that we didn't have when I was in. Dude, check out Medieval Industries, and man, if you try their stuff, it's just like Hero Soap, just like Fort Scott Munitions, just like Ned, you try it, you're not going to go to anything else, because you're like, man, where's this stuff been my whole life? So check out Medieval Industries as well, guys, when you get a chance. All you shooters out there, you're gonna love their stuff. I'm telling you. And but yeah, guys, thanks for everything. And Ian, man, thanks for putting up with me this month for 2 shows.
Oh no, I've enjoyed it, man. Right on. This is great.
That's all for this week's Battleline podcast, but we'll be back on Monday with more American Straight Talk, so make sure you're subscribed. And keep up with the show 24/7 on Facebook and Instagram at Battleline Podcast. Also on Twitter at Battleline Pod. As always, never quit.